So if you think that you are too slow for video editing, you've recorded 7 videos, but you can only edit 1 a week, and you really want 3 videos a week up on your YouTube channel, you need a video editor. If you upload all of these videos, but you've got a bad title and you've got a bad thumbnail, and it's just not having the social reach, but you don't know that skills and you can't learn it, that's the bottleneck. And you need to import the expertise to help you there. And it's the same with anything. Like, well, you may have a really successful channel, but you're not monetizing it properly. Why aren't I getting sponsorships? How do they do this affiliate thing? Once again, you are now the bottleneck of your blissful ignorance, and you import somebody that knows that section to help you. And most of the time, if you import somebody in to help, they kind of pay for their own job by the growth that they bring in. Because if I go to a large YouTube channel and just increase their views by 2%, and they go from 1 million views to, an extra 20, 30,000 views, that's another sponsorship arrangement. That's another. So don't be afraid to hire. And you can find them in many places, whether you're 5 people per hour, Upwork, just ask people in the scene. You'll be amazed. Everyone's around somewhere and everyone has a skill.
What's important too, I think, to note, to add on to what you're saying, especially because we've seen this a lot lately, because when we were recording this, we're kind of coming out of that whole like everyone was quitting era. And it's kind of the idea, it's like it's important to find balance where having someone like Alan as like your YouTube manager, it's almost like having someone who's in charge of like the operations of making the business of your YouTube channel work. That way you can focus on creative. When you're hiring people and you're kind of like, okay, I need an editor. Okay, I need someone whose job is to manage sales and sponsorships and stuff like that. Okay, now I need somebody whose job it is to like do all the social media marketing and like they do the emails and the blogging, the repurposing. Like those, then those are people that are helping you expand by taking labor off your table. But it then also will turn around and put a new labor onto your table, which is employee management. And that can be a very slippery slope. I really like what Ali Abdul said and talks about like his book. And I watched this in the COO podcast that they do with Rescreen, where he is like, I am the only person Ali generally deals with. Like, it's my job as his operations manager to make sure everything else is working the way that it's supposed to, so that they can focus on the work. So he can focus on the work of being a creator. We know we need these other things. And he'll say, yes, no, like we need to get this and we'll do this and we'll have this kind of stuff. And yes, no to all these things. But he's having that one point of contact. In your creator business, well, like I know Ali's in a different place with like, his multi-million followers and, probably 5 to 6 figure brand deals and all that kind of stuff. Like, well, we're hoping to get to that point. In order for him to get to that point, his operations manager started off as his editor. Like, that's how he started off, as like these small little tasks, and he evolved within the business, which is what I know you have done, what you and I had done together for years, accidentally. Like, again, this is a whole idea of like getting in on the groundwork of something and building something out and seeing what does and doesn't work and testing things out. And you and I, like, we went through this process here. It wasn't pretty. There were some times where I literally was like yelling at you, like, why are you messing this up? You cost us this client because this ball you dropped it. Like, and that was an important client to me, and I lost him, and I have not been able to mend that relationship. But that's part of growing as a creator and as a person, as a business professional. So you figure out like, what is it that we need to do to be better, so that when we come at things a year to 5 years later, which is like where you and I are at right now, that isn't the case, as we had that lesson that we learned and we can move forward. So like, even now in my business, I have a project manager, and she's the one that handles a lot of like the management things, the calendar, making sure everything is getting done, that the person's getting the stuff that they need and stuff like that. And you act as that role for creators, especially when it's very specific to like what they're doing with YouTube. And I love what you talked about, how like helping them find solutions to things. Like, if you need more sales or more stuff, like, okay, let's go find this person, because that's going to help you with that, and helping them navigate something they don't know. Because as creators, we know how to create stuff. We're not necessarily good at running businesses or brands or figuring out how to expand and grow intuitively. Very similar to how like a plumber knows how to plumb. They don't know how to run a plumbing business. It's very different. Right. And so it's really, I think, important for people to expect that and know that with managing.
Because I am a solopreneur and I juggle all of these things, I have to split my energy 8 ways. But if I bring somebody in to do 4 or 5 of my tasks, I can then use that additional energy within me to make better content or more content, which then scales up better. I think it was Marquise Brownlee that said it best, that slowly over time you just cut pieces off of you. So in the end, it's just him, the creator, not him, the researcher, the video editor. Like he now just focuses solely on creation, and everything else is taken away, and he can make much more powerful stuff because he doesn't have to spend his mental energy in the other things.